Hi, my name is Samantha Luzzi. I am doing my video presentation for Dr. Nash's class for the astrology portion. I chose the topic of ancient navigation, and I'm going to focus on the sextant today. Let's get started. So we haven't always had GPS to guide our way, right? That's a pretty recent invention. Before GPS, we had maps. Lots of maps of various kinds to help us navigate our world. But what happens when you are discovering a place new to you or where there isn't any land to help you guide your way? That's the problem earlier explorers faced as they were sent on quests and missions to find new land, often across the ocean. How exactly do we navigate our way? How do we know where we're going? They eventually discovered that they could use the stars and the planets to help map out their journey. They looked at how they rotated and how they moved, and they discovered that stars will gradually move in a certain direction, and it helped them navigate. Now, how exactly did they use the stars to navigate? Well, early on in the pursuit of celestial navigation, they could only really determine latitude by sighting Polaris, the star, with instruments like an astrolabe or a cross staff. Eventually, they developed an instrument called the sextant, which was a lot more accurate because it could pinpoint the direct angular distance between two different points. Like, for instance, they could see what big of an angle it was between a star and the horizon where they were looking out over the ocean. Now that I gave you a little bit of a background about ancient navigation and the tools they used, I'm going to show you guys a little experiment that you can do with your future students and your future science classrooms potentially. We're going to make our own version of a really simple sextant, which is great because it's pretty darn cheap, it's super simple to make, and it's pretty cool when you actually use it, I think. You're going to need a protractor. Hopefully you're like me and have about 6 of these in your house from when you're in elementary school. Make sure to if you don't have one, get a cheap one because you might wreck it by doing this. They're going to have a beveled edge. Usually one's a little bit curved, the other side is flat. You're going to have to put it flat on. I'll show you in the actual making of the video. You need a straw, some kind of string or ribbon to hold it with, tape, and something to weigh it down. I used a locker lock, but you could probably use a washer, anything that you have around your own house. Curved side is facing upward toward the sky. Your straw, going to take it so it forms even ends on each side of the sextant. You're going to carefully tape it down and keep it secure. Once you get one side, it's a little bit easier than to get the other. Ta-da! You're going to take this. You want to make sure your protractor is facing with the 90 degrees downward, so your protractor is upside down. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your string or your ribbon or whatever, and you're going to loop it through and tie it around here. Ha! There you go. It's going to hang like this. You want it to hang over your curved side. Hang over your curved side like that. Then you're going to take your washer. I'm using the thing. I'd seriously recommend a washer though. It might be a little bit easier. There you go. You have a sextant. And as you can see, I'll tilt this up a little bit. Here you have your sextant. Pretty darn easy. And I'll show you kind of how to use it. In an experiment for a class or anything, if you were teaching small children, what you would have them do is you point out something in the room, and you'd have them look through the end of the straw, like this. And as you can see, it starts at an even 90 degrees, right where it should be right in the middle. And if you tilt it up, you can have the students measure the angle where it is. So right now I'm looking at a picture on the wall. I can tell you it's about 50 degrees, which from the horizon is about 30. So there you go. That's how the cartographers back in the day, the navigators, they would pick a point in the stars and measure the angle and help them create a more accurate form of measurement. Pretty easy, right? I hope you enjoyed that little video presentation. I thought it was pretty cool. I hope you can maybe adapt it to yourself in your future classrooms and use it for you. Some references I grabbed, some good websites talking more about the history of navigation and how to build a sextant, and some pretty good resources for you. I have some more videos about navigation, how exactly to use sextants, how sextants are used now, sort of thing. Did you know that the Navy still uses sextants? I didn't. I thought it was pretty cool. So maybe if you're interested, you should give these videos a try. I hope you enjoyed our little trip back in time, and yeah, thanks for listening.